Temperature and pressure are two of the most common physical variables that are utilized in various industrial processes for high quality of products and workplace safety. For this reason, exact measurements and good monitoring is required. In this experiment, 6 different temperature measurements were taken, in which mercury thermometer, bimetallic thermometer, and gas thermometers are all thermal expansion thermometers, and thermocouple, NTC thermistor, and resistance thermometer are all digital thermometers. Likewise, pressure was measured using all analog instrument, Burden tube, U-tube manometer, and incline manometer. When it comes to the industrial application of these instruments, the most widely used temperature measuring instrument is thermocouple. These are used in food and beverage industry, including cleaning place sensors, penetration probes, hot plate control, etc. This is because of its ability to measure such high accuracy, high sensitivity, and thus faster response. As for pressure, Burden tubes are the most commonly used ones in the industry. This is because of its high accuracy, low cost, safe aspect even for higher pressures. Applications of these include measuring pressure of steam boilers, compressors, vehicle tube tires, and agricultural field sprayers.
Experiment setup. In this lab size experiment, we've got two operation panel, one metal flask, and electronic heater. And on one operation panel, we got 6 different types of thermometer, while on the other side is 4 different types of manometers. We've also need a multimeter, a needle with one-way valve, and proximity gloves. So for our experiment procedure, we first fill the metal flask with ice water mixture and then measuring the temperature with different thermometer on the first operation panel. And we then measuring the resistance in resistance thermometer and the voltage difference in the thermocouple type K thermometer with the multimeter. We then finally fill the metal flask with hot water and use the heater to reach its boiling point. Repeat all the measuring above. For temperature measuring, we first link the needle with the manometer, use tubes, pressing the one-way valve to calibrate the reading in manometers, and we then push or pull the needle by 2 centimeter cube of air, depending on the manometer, it is positive or negative. We finally take the reading on all these manometers.
These three tables show the results we obtained from this experiment. For the temperature measurement of 0 degrees Celsius, the bimetallic thermometer was the best instrument. This makes sense as it is based on the theory of thermal expansion, where two metals expand at the same temperature but at different rates based on their internal composition. Now, at 0 degrees Celsius, this is a relatively low temperature for metals, and thus not a lot of expansion will be happening, hence the accuracy. However, for 100 degrees Celsius, the gas pressure thermometer is the best, and this also makes sense, as it is based on the theory of vapor-liquid equilibrium, where the change in pressure and temperature are very closely related for a vapor and liquid equilibrium system, where both of those things are present. A boiling liquid is a perfect example of this, and thus the accuracy in this case makes sense as well. Now, for the measurement of air pressure, it is important to use a syringe, as this prevents the suspension of liquids or vapors in the air from interrupting our experiment and introducing errors, and allows us to measure the temperature of just the gas air on its own.
So here we have all of the safety precautions that must be followed in order to keep safe during the experiment. When measuring the temperature of boiling water, proximity gloves are worn to protect all experimenters from hot surfaces, such as the metal flask which contains the water. When boiling the water, a lid is placed on top of the metal flask. This is to prevent the bubbling contents from escaping. If boiling water happens to come into contact with someone's skin, it could result in harsh burns or blisters. Cloths or paper towels must be used to clear any spillage or leakages that may cause someone to fall and injure themselves. Lastly, a mercury spill kit must be readily available in case the mercury from the mercury thermometer is released. Mercury is known to have a detrimental effect on the digestive and immune systems, as well as lungs and kidneys. So to recap, at the start of this presentation, different types of thermometers and pressure measuring tools used in this experiment were highlighted, and each of the industrial applications were outlined. Then, a labeled diagram showing the equipment used during the experimental procedure was presented. The proper methods of taking temperature and pressure readings using each thermometer and pressure measuring tool was discussed. Followed by this were the safety precautions used to keep experimenters safe. Mitigating measures such as proximity gloves and mercury spill kits are implemented to prevent any disasters from happening. Lastly, the temperature and pressure readings from each thermometer and pressure measuring tool was recorded and displayed in a table.